Welcome to my channel, where we strip bare the raw truths about the most complex organ in the universe, our own minds. Today, we're diving deep into a fascinating paradox that many of you have probably experienced. The more you know, the more you suffer. Sounds shocking, doesn't it? We've always been taught that knowledge is power, that knowledge is a guiding light. But what if sometimes that very light is so dazzling that it blinds us, even causes us to stumble? If you're interested in self-inflicting pain by learning more about self-inflicting pain, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you do not miss any future self-destruct episodes. Let's start with a classic example. Love. When you first fall in love, everything is rosy, right? She just has to look at you, smile, and your heart races like a drum. You don't need to know how many people they've loved before, how many relationship scars they carry, or how many generations of difficult genes run in their family. You just know they are everything. Then what? Then you start to know more. You know that her ex was prettier than you, smarter than you, or at least had more Instagram followers than you. You know that their family has some out-of-this-world rules that you can't possibly understand. You know that their habit of snoring like a bulldozer can cause you chronic insomnia. The more you know, the more you scrutinize, the more you overthink, the more you create a long, exhaustive list of imperfections in your partner and in yourself within that relationship. From loving each other for simple reasons, you start loving each other based on complex calculations, endless comparisons. Love suddenly turns into a difficult equation, and the answer is often break up. Is it because you know too much? Or because you used your knowledge to control something that shouldn't be controlled? The more you know, the more you worry. The more you know, the more you doubt. The more you know, the more you suffer. It's not just in love. It's the same in work. You're new to a company, you only know your tasks, and you try to do your best. You're optimistic, full of energy. Then you start to know more. You know that colleague A got a higher raise than you, even though you work harder. You know that boss B seems to favor colleague C's team more. You know that the project you're pouring your blood, sweat, and tears into is actually a stepchild in the eyes of management. You know that the new policy will directly affect your benefits, and you start to feel unfair, angry. From focusing on your work, you start focusing on the hidden corners behind the scenes. You start doubting everything, from your boss's praise to your colleague's smile. Stress increases, performance declines, and you wonder why you've become so tired and discouraged. Perhaps the knowledge of internal information, of office gossip, of things you didn't need to know, turned you into an amateur detective instead of a professional employee? And the price of that understanding is peace of mind and dedication to your work. We also have a treasure trove of knowledge on social media. Everyone is an expert. Everyone can express opinions on any issue, from politics and economics to how to cook a dish. You scroll through Facebook, you see friends showing off fancy travel photos, beautiful cars, big houses. You know they are living a dream life. Then you look at yourself, and you compare. Oh, I work hard too, so why am I not like them? I'm talented too, so why haven't I succeeded? The more you know about others' perfect lives, the more you feel your own life is dull and lacking. You know about social norms that sometimes you don't even need to follow, but you put the burden on yourself. You know about the early successes of people younger than you, and you feel like you're falling behind. Knowledge here isn't mathematical formulas or physical laws, but fragmented information, carefully selected images, embellished rhetoric. But it is precisely this knowledge that has tremendous power, gnawing at our self-confidence and self-esteem. Instead of focusing on our own journey, we spend time measuring and comparing ourselves against millions of virtual yardsticks online. And what's the result? A vicious cycle of insecurity and anxiety. Let's talk about health. Back in the day, if you had a headache, you took pain relievers. If you coughed, you took syrup. Simple. Now what? You have a headache, you Google it. Headache can be a sign of a brain tumor, stroke, or hundreds of other serious diseases. You cough, you also Google it. Cough can be lung cancer, tuberculosis, chronic bronchitis. The more you know, the more confused you become. A small symptom suddenly turns into a huge threat. From trusting doctors and treatment plans, you start self-diagnosing, self-treating, and self-inflicting pain with nameless fears. Medical knowledge is extremely important, but indiscriminately seeking information without a solid foundation of knowledge is a double-edged sword. It turns us into anxious Dr. Googles instead of calm patients who follow expert advice. And the price to pay is peace of mind and even physical health when we self-medicate or ignore medical advice. Even in highly specialized fields, knowing too much can have a counterproductive effect. A beginner artist might paint very freely, loosely, unconstrained. They don't know about perspective rules, the golden ratio, or anatomy. They just paint from emotion. And sometimes those paintings carry a surprisingly innocent and genuine beauty. Then they start to learn. They learn about anatomy, colors, composition. The more they learn, the more they realize the mistakes in their previous paintings. They start self-criticizing, confining themselves to rules. They fear making mistakes. They fear imperfection. And gradually, the initial freedom and spontaneity disappear, replaced by excessive caution, even fear when holding a brush. Knowledge is necessary to improve skills, but if not balanced, it can become shackles, binding creativity and initial joy. Artists sometimes need a little naivety to create unique works that defy any rules. And here's the greatest irony. Sometimes we even self-inflict pain by knowing too much about ourselves. We read psychology books, we take personality tests. I'm an introvert, so I'm not suited for a sales job. Oh, I'm a perfectionist, that's why I worry about small details. I have imposter syndrome, so I always feel I don't deserve success. The more we label ourselves, the more we limit ourselves. We turn psychological knowledge into invisible cages, trapping our own potential for growth and adaptation. Instead of using that knowledge to understand ourselves and develop in a positive direction, we use it as an excuse to justify shortcomings, to accept limitations that sometimes don't even exist. We create a complex map of ourself, then get lost in that very map. So, should we live in ignorance to be happy? Absolutely not. Knowledge is humanity's most valuable asset, the driving force for our progress. The problem is not in knowing, but in how we digest and apply what we know. The problem is whether we are turning knowledge into a burden, a tool to torture ourselves, or a resource to grow and find true happiness. Perhaps the secret lies in recognizing the boundary between useful knowledge and toxic knowledge. Useful knowledge helps us solve problems, improve skills, broaden our horizons, and develop ourselves. Toxic knowledge is unnecessary information, useless comparisons, unfounded anxieties that we create from fragmented pieces of information. It's like having a powerful arsenal, but using it to shoot yourself in the foot. We need to learn to filter information, sift out what is necessary and discard what is distracting. Like a computer, if you load too much junk data, it will run slowly and crash. Our brains are the same. Sometimes a little not knowing is the most effective tranquilizer. Not knowing about baseless rumors, you will focus on your work. Not knowing about toxic social comparisons, you will be happier with your current life. Not knowing about the negative aspects of your partner, you will cherish the good things they bring. And most importantly, we need to learn to accept what we cannot change and focus on what we can control. Knowledge helps us realize many things, but not everything is within our control. Instead of suffering over what is beyond reach, use knowledge to find solutions to problems that can be solved and find peace in accepting what cannot be changed. So in the end, the more we know, do we suffer more, or do we have more opportunities to live a more meaningful life? The answer lies within us, in how we choose to use the immense treasure trove of knowledge we possess. Will you turn it into a burden or a pair of wings to fly higher? Or will you continue to delve deeper into what you know to find a new answer, a new suffering?